and welcome to the Fandemic. This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show airs, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you find audio podcasts a little bit later. In the show, we dive deep into the hearts of fandoms and celebrate the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games, we explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans. Each week, we'll take you on a journey through the realms of awesomeness. Expect passionate discussion, in-depth analyses, things under the bed, many side quests. So whether you're a die-hard enthusiast because I can't talk, or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters and saying yippee-ki-yay, the Fandemic is the place to be. I'm the host, Bradley Butin, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, and with me every week I have the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples, the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles, and the unverified twin of Carl Weathers in the mustache.
AKA Flavor Saver.
The Flavor Saver.
Yes, sir.
And who are you?
My name is Brian S. Dennis, and this week the S stands for Jeddah, because we're going to talk about a great event that happened in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia tonight.
Yes. All right. And well, with that, just a little bit of upkeep. I got some review shows coming up this week. I wasn't able to get any of this last week because I didn't have internet. My internet was knocked clean out. We had nothing for the storm that came through on Tuesday till Friday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like we had
power, but no internet, or no power as well?
No internet. We had power, but just no internet. So I mean, I could watch my phone and stuff, but I couldn't really do much because it just
that's tough.
Yeah, in this day and age, it sure is.
That's really tough, man.
Yeah, so I did get Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes episode out for Fandemically reviewed, and I'm going to get Strangers Chapter 1, If, Furious, and Garfield, Star Wars issues 44 through 46, and Darth Vader issues 44 through 46 out, spread out between the next 2 weeks. So
gotcha, bro, killing it.
Yeah, dude, I was able to get caught up in a bunch of my comics, Star Wars and Darth Vader, since I was out, and it was kind of nice, man. Like, dude, those comics are so good. Dude, how are you?
I am good. I am incredibly busy, but I am looking forward to the podcast. Definitely a highlight of my weekend, man. So I can't wait to talk about our best of going forward tag team partners. Let's jump into it, man.
Let's do it, man. What are some of your favorites?
All right, so some of my favorites. Well, we're going to kick out. Well, one of my favorites. I didn't get a chance to catch any movies this week. We're going to talk about King and Queen of the Ring here a little bit. But I want to give a shout out to my buddy Marcus. So, Brad, we talked about before. I love me some tequila. So, my buddy Marcus got me a bottle of tequila called Siete Legos, which I'm butchering that name, but basically what it stands, it means it's 7 leagues. And it really is an older company that actually many of their notes in making tequila was actually modeled Patron. So I've been enjoying it the past few days, including right here in my handy dandy mug today. So it is really, really good. So Marcus, thank you for your shout out. Also, Kelly went and got cleaned up yesterday. So Kelly, always thank you for giving me a cut over at Universal. And then a few things catching up for shows of the week. So 2 are ones I caught up on some binging the last couple of days, and they're not. Well, one is sort of a fantasy show, but I don't know if you're watching these, and these are a great watch if you want to step out of our typical nerddom that we talk about. So one is if you're a fan of kind of quirky hour-long like police procedurals that are on typical television. Brad, have you ever seen the show Elsbeth?
I have not. It's on my list to check out here pretty soon.
All right. So without getting too much into spoiler alerts, so Elsbeth is basically a spinoff of a spinoff.
Hmm.
Years ago, there was a show called The Good Wife
Hmm.
that star Juliana Margulies that most of us know from ER, and Chris Noth that most of us know from the original seasons of Law and Order. And it blended some like political stuff as well as lawyer aspects of it, and a phenomenal show. And then a spinoff from that show was a show called The Good Fight that stars Christine Baranski, who's introduced in The Good Wife. And in The Good Fight, one thing they do is they have lots of guest stars that plug in. There's a legal show to have other lawyers, judges, a lot of have a really great cast of guest stars. One of the guest stars in that plays a character named Elsbeth, who's Elsbeth Tassione, a very unique name, and has a spinoff show that is now called Elsbeth. So Good Wife and Good Fight take place in Chicago, and and then the Elsbeth takes place in New York City. And basically, the premise behind the show is she's brought in as an attorney who is looking for possible police corruption. And a buddy of ours, if you love The Wire, Wendell Pierce plays one of basically the police captain. And it's really great because one of those shows that if you like sort of monk. She definitely has some monk-ish
Mm.
qualities. Not quite to the level of Will Trent that I really love as well, but it's one of those shows that actually, this is not a spoiler. It's a murder mystery every week, but the show starts off with you knowing who the killer is, but you see it from her of her figuring out who the killer is. So it's one of those really things that like there's no mystery as far as who done it. It's her starting to work it way backward and finding where there's holes. So it's really cool. It's funny. It's really enjoyable. I wish I could remember the actress's name right now. She's the redhead that worked in the bar in True Blood. Just a really really good show. So definitely check that out. And then another show I really want to talk about that's really kind of more in the area of fantasy is a show that's on. So, by the way, Elsbeth, you can catch if you want to stream it on Paramount Plus. Show you can catch via Hulu or on ABC is Dead to Me. Have you seen Dead to Me?
I have not seen Dead to Me, and I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know
not Dead to
much
Me,
about that.
not dead yet. I lied to you. It's not dead yet. I lied to
Not
you in the
Dead yet.
title.
Same
Yes.
thing.
Okay, so Not Dead Yet is another great show. So, if you have seen shows such as did you happen to watch Superstore, Brad, back when it was on NBC?
Yes.
So one of the stars of Not Dead Yet is Lauren Ash, who played Gina, the security guard in Not Dead, excuse me, in Superstore, as well as Gina Rodriguez, who played Jane the Virgin in the show Jane the Virgin. But here's the general quick premise of the show. Ellsworth is an hour-long show. Not Dead Yet is a half hour. If you stream, it's 20-ish minutes. But Lauren Ash's father owns played by Brad Garrett, who steals the show, by the way. Brad Garrett plays Lauren Ash's father, who owns a newspaper. Lauren Ash is basically the manager of the paper, and they need a person played by Gina Rodriguez, who writes obituaries. This is where the fantasy comes in. Every time she's assigned an obituary to write, the ghost of the subject of the obituary visits her. And they basically, as she's figuring out their obituary, is tied to something going on in her life, including one episode, Brad. She actually has to write the obituary for a service dog. So
Interesting.
the individuals that typically play the ghosts are she has great guest stars as this Ed Begley Jr.
Hmm.
plays a ghost. They have excellent, and it's a really, again, very funny, very soulful, very heartfelt. But it's one of those really good. Both Elsbeth and Not Dead Yet, you can watch with your family. I mean, if you have kids at least Leia's age, nothing really is gonna with Elsbeth and the crime. I mean, something like Monk or Psych, you know that someone, even Murder She Wrote, you know someone dies, but
Hmm.
it's not gory from the violence standpoint.
Hmm.
Not Dead Yet is a great show to watch with the family. Also, Not Dead Yet. I love that the title of every episode is something, not something yet. So not an adult yet, not independent yet, something of that nature. So definitely check out both those. We're into season 2 of Not Dead Yet. We're on season 1 of Elsbeth. Both of those are great shows. And then finally, Brad, going back to our bread and butter, one of the great things that Disney Plus does with their Marvel series is they have an assembled episode. And the assembled episode talks about how they got to whatever show, pardon me, show that they're showing that's Marvel. So they just dropped a few days ago the assembled episode related to X-Men 97. If you've not had
I
a
did not
chance to
know that.
watch that, it is fantastic because they spend time talking about not only X-Men 97, but X-Men the original series. Including, you will find this one of the great kind of factoids they drop is they told they've been trying to get an X-Men the animated series done since the 80s. No studio would touch it as far as even just a cartoon. So like, nope, kids don't. That's not gonna be a thing. You know, we already have Super Friends. Now you want to make this much more. If you think about it, for the time, a much more serious kids show. Like, no, it'll flop. No way. And basically, what wound up happening is when Fox, as a fledgling network, hired their vice president for children's programming, she was a fan of X-Men and wanted to push the show. And while she got the show to be created, they asked her board basically told her, if the show flops, you're fired. And so
She got a raise, didn't she?
She put her job, career, and a lot of money on the thing. But that's the interesting part. And then I'll hush on the show, but you should check it out, is they brought back a lot of the original showrunners. They brought back all the original voice actors they could bring back. All the voice actors were actually not voice actors. I mean, that's not what their bread and butter was. These were theater people. These were live action actors. So they wanted not to feel like a cartoon, how a lot of the voices were. There's some really good interviews with the woman that voices Rogue, who's a hoot. But the other piece of it was because these are the days before the internet. They actually, the first season, I think they said they did 13 episodes. They actually fired the entire cast and production team at the end of the 13th episode, going, we don't know what this is going to be, but we don't want to keep paying you in case this is a flop. So they made the 13th episode. Everybody was, well, I should say, they told them after 13 episodes, you're done. They all went to do new projects, and then the show dropped. It's a hit. There's no internet, so no one knows this thing they did several months prior is huge, other than you can look at the ratings, but that's still not telling them how popular it is. So then Fox and the production company is calling it, we need you back. And they even point, like, if you listen closer to the first season and then to season 2 through 5, there are a few characters that have different voices because those were actors they couldn't get back. They're taking different jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So check
really
out
cool.
X-Men. So check out X-Men 97 Assembled. The best part is hearing the people who are currently on the show talk about how much that show, and a lot of them are around our age bracket, a little younger, talk about how much that show influenced them. And when Disney dropped the animated series before, I got 2 more factors for you. They talked about how they thought maybe they should bring it back because if you went to Comic-Con the year after the animated series dropped, everybody's doing retro cosplays from the animated series. Like, wow, this thing has traction. And then the other piece is when they were looking for the cast for the first run of the animated series for the voice actors, they didn't want, because they weren't sure, so they kind of tried to keep everything hush hush. So they named the show Project X. The only person who knew was the gentleman who voices Beast, who was a huge X-Men fan. So when he read at a kids show called Project X, y'all are doing X-Men. So that's nerd positive. That's why it pays to be a nerd. He goes, y'all may not know what this means. I know Project X means we're doing X-Men.
Very good, man. Shows I really got into, the season finale of Will Trent was good. The season finale, or the series finale of The Good Doctor.
Yes.
There was a little bit of ocular.
I got to get caught up on
there.
it, but I've heard fantastic things about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. The season finale of The Rookie was really dumb. And
first, I say anything with Nathan Fillion is dumb. Oh no. Oh, but
it was
season though, not serious. Correct. Season.
Yeah,
I'm behind on The Rookie as well. Yes.
And then the Survivor ended. But yeah, that was really about it.
Okay. Have you seen Race for Survival New Zealand?
I have not, but I do want to check that out.
Survivor and strip away every bit of production. It strikes me as a lot of the first few seasons of Survivor. Mm-hmm. This is no shade Survivor. Survivor's a hit and do your thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is like incredibly stripped down, including Survivor is within a fairly restrained and restricted place. Like generally, they only go so far, just farther as far as geography, wherever they're at in Survivor, right? And this because they're traveling really across the New Zealand outback, if that's a term. Some of the things they make them do is, hey, you can try and complete the run before sundown because they have mandated time they have to stop no matter where they're at. Or you can go and try and get this food cache that will take you an hour out of your way. So you got to choose because they're not allowed to bring any food with them. So either you starve or go probably at least a day or so without food after exerting yourself for like 12 to 15 hours, or you risk losing your spot in the race. And you see teams, especially because it's a duo team, having really intense conversations of, do we eat or do we keep going? And the teams do not always agree on what's the best path to do, but they have to do everything as a team. So again, Race for Survival New Zealand. I know you love some Survivor. I think this will hit a lot of things that you dig as well, sir.
I will definitely check that out. And then movies, man, I've seen a bunch of them. So really quick, Strangers Chapter 1, pass.
Okay, I was curious about that. All right.
Yeah, it's not much. I got a whole. You can see my thoughts on TikTok or on the Fandemically Reviewed. Let's see here. If great movie.
Good.
If
I think
great.
You said this last time. Ryan Reynolds does not overshadow the kids, which is important.
Yep. Furiosa.
Even with the change, you're good with Anya over.
I am
not being Charlize. Okay.
Yep. It was. Okay. I loved it. I'm gonna watch it again.
I just rewatched Dune 2, and she plays the uncredited as the sisters Ali or Ailey. I forgot how you say her name, but yes. So absolutely. And Dune 2, even on Max, holds up so well.
I was gonna watch it this weekend, but I just didn't have time.
Holds up really well.
And then Garfield, the Garfield movie,
sir.
It was dumb.
Okay. I was more of a Heathcliff fan of a Garfield anyway.
Same, yeah. Oh, hey, Leigh, you want to say hi?
Hi.
What did you think of Garfield here?
Hey, Princess Leia.
Yes.
How was the Garfield movie?
Oh no. Are you gonna play your flute?
I've been playing it upstairs.
How was Garfield?
All right, give Brian a concert. Give the podcast a concert.
Let's hear it. If you brought it, let's hear it. Let's go.
I can play a few notes.
Okay. Hey, I'm a band nerd myself. I play trombone, so I want to hear it. That you're a proud flautist.
I'm a flutist. Oops.
No, it is not flutist. It's flautist.
Right,
it is flautist.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you my opinion of the of the Garfield movie. It was okay. Right. I rated it a 5 out of 10. It's more for little baby kids.
Got you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hopefully
all right, flautist. Let's hear it.
Yeah,
hopefully
do
it's
it.
Not gonna be loud.
Just do it.
Put these on.
No. Okay.
I'll stand back a little bit.
All right.
Give me a note.
N.
A. All right.
A.
A.
Natural or flat?
There's no note. There's no note
flat.
in, my friend.
Flat.
There's no in.
High or low?
Low.
Can you do the brown noise? That's a South Park reference. That wasn't far from it.
Good job. That was great.
That was
practicing, honey.
Hey, I don't know if I'm supposed to take that as a compliment.
That was definitely a compliment. All right.
I can play the scale.
One more. Play your scale, and then we're gonna get back to talking.
Okay, hold this. I might mess up.
I love the fact
I
you're
have
not
heard
actually
my
holding
dreams.
it, but okay.
Yeah. Can you play
There's-
Enter Sandman?
With that.
Yeah. All right, I thought so. All right, baby girl, tell Brian bye. Say bye bye.
Bye bye.
I need the headphones for that.
Bye bye, princess.
Bye bye. Was that loud?
No,
it's fine.
you're good. You're good. We'll talk soon.
Yes.
All right, give me my.
You're a great flautist.
Thank you.
All right.
Owie.
All right, kiddo. I'll see you later. See you
Okay.
in a little while.
All right, my dude. Hey, and just remind her she is not a flutist. She's not a flutist. She's a flautist. That's actually the term. It's flautist.
Flautist sounds like a
Yeah.
a Greek tortilla.
I was thinking like Felix Faust or something. But yeah, all the same.
Yeah, that works too.
As a band nerd, I was corrected many times that hey, they're not flutists, they're flautists. Cool, man.
Gotcha.
All right, my friend.
All right, man. Anything else you want to hit up on the favorites of the week?
Well, I think we're going to talk about, one thing we're going to review, which is the WWE PLE from yesterday, King and Queen of the Ring.
Yes. Let's get into that.
All right, my friend. Well, first off, again, so one of the reasons that we do wrestling updates is, number one, some of our followers are actually fairly wrestling related, but the other thing that Brad and I are completely unashamed fans of professional wrestling, and we are both very excited that we've reached a point in time that professional wrestling is cool again. If you follow anything to know with the WWE, they've definitely had some changes at the top of their administration. Some were by choice, such as being bought out by TKO, that also owns the UFC. Some were others, such as Vince McMahon, proved what many of us have known for years is a little bit of a creepy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So we've reached a new era, and we want to, Bradley, I'm gonna put it up, acknowledge the new era of the WWE. So we routinely will do a quick review, well, sometimes not so quick review of their what they now call premium live events, because they're streamed instead of the pay-per-view that Brad and I grew up watching. So I'm gonna give a little bit of backstory on this. We'll run through the card, and then we might just chop it up with a couple of questions to each other. So first off is the sight and scene of the event. So somewhat controversially, the WWE has a billions, plural, dollar agreement with Saudi Arabia to have a few different events that take place over in the Middle East, and this is one of them, the King and Queen of the Ring. So, the King of the Ring is a tournament they've held not quite annually. I think this was their 28th or so King of the Ring. And they've had and it's been definitely inconsistent. Some years they make it a really big deal. Some years it's kind of a thing that happens. But they had a King of the Ring, and this is their second ever Queen of the Ring. So these are tournaments that take place other than the finals, which is what happened on the PLE. On both Raw and SmackDown, they definitely invested more into this year's event. You can see in this even how they talked about it. They had a bracketologist in Wade Barrett. They really hyped all of the matches on both Raw and SmackDown, and they gave it an actual prize, which is both the King and Queen of the Ring will get a title shot at SummerSlam, which is their second biggest PLE of the year for their brand's respective top championship. So that by itself meant they put a lot of onus into it, which meant it made it a bigger deal. So we're going to run through the card, and we'll talk about our thoughts here. So looking at the card, first up, we had the what they used to call the dark match, but because nobody saw it, now everybody sees the dark matches. So this would be the match before the actual primary card took place. So this was a tag match that had featured the women's tag team champion, which is a tag team of Bianca Belair, also on the EST, and Jade Cargill, who's called the Storm, wrestling Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. What we got out of this match were the champions retained and defeated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Next up, we had for the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan defeated champion Becky Lynch. We'll talk more about each one of these matches here in a minute. Sami Zayn as the Intercontinental Champion, which is the second most prestigious male title on Raw, defending against Chad Gable. I like to call him Mini Kurt Angle, and Big Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn retained. Nia Jax from SmackDown defeated Lyra Valkyria. Worst name in wrestling right now, but she's really talented.
She is.
For the women. And have you noticed, Brad, the talent pool that they are pulling from Ireland? So you've got Drew McIntyre, you've got Becky Lynch, you've got Finn Balor, you've got JD Madonna, you have Piper Niven, and you have Lyra Valkyria. So they're really pulling a lot of talent, not only from Europe, but from Ireland specifically.
That'd make a cool faction.
It would make a cool faction. And the best part is, I don't know why, I want Piper Niven to lead it. Just to watch Drew in the background with the red ass.
Oh, man.
I should be leading that. Okay. Next up, so anyway, Nia Jax defeated Lyra Valkyria. So Nia Jax will be able to challenge for, on her brand, which is SmackDown, the WWE Women's Championship. Gunther, I think a guy that I really enjoy, I know he's not your personal favorite, defeated Randy Orton for
controversially.
Yes, we'll talk more about that. For the King of the Ring, so Gunther sits on Raw, so he'll be able to challenge the World Heavyweight Champion right now. That is our boy Damian Priest, which we'll talk more about, the dynamics of what that match might look like. And then the main event, we had Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion, taking on Logan Paul, and Cody retained. So other than the match results I talked about, let's talk a little bit about the card. Were any moments for you, Brad, that you stood out as either being your favorite moment, a moment you didn't like? Well, let's start with favorites. So was a moment that was your favorite moment or your favorite match?
So best match was Liv and Becky. It was a good match.
Yes.
And we're at this point where the women's matches aren't just like,
they're not filler.
Right.
We are way beyond the diva division at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. It was really good. My favorite moment was the count out of Randy Orton, because it was incredibly bad.
And I want to talk more about that because there's been a lot of discussion back and forth online regarding that. So since you brought it up, so again, a little bit of backstory. So Liv Morgan was legitimately injured in a match with former women's world champion Rhea Ripley, who, by the way, was the Nightmare before Cody Rhodes was the Nightmare. Rhea Ripley was the original Nightmare, but they had to change that with Cody, so she's the Eradicator now. But anyway, was injured. Liv Morgan comes back doing a whole angle with the Revenge tour that was totally building to Liv versus Rhea Ripley. By the way, Brad, did you think in any way had it came about the way it probably would have been planned, was Liv taking on Rhea in any way, shape, or form? Do you see Liv Morgan beating Rhea Ripley straight up?
Not straight up.
Not straight. And I got thoughts on the not straight up here in a minute.
Yeah,
not straight up. Go ahead.
My head wanted Liv to join Judgment Day. I thought it would have been really freaking cool if, yes, Rhea took her out, but they joined forces.
She could have been like a Liv acolyte. I mean, they've done similar. That's how they introduced Mickie James back in the day.
Yeah.
Mickie was right behind Trish, and then they kind of dealt that up. So as things happen, and when people say wrestling's fake, it's not. It's choreographed. That's different. So while Liv Morgan had a legitimate injury, put her out of action for several months, Rhea Ripley also had a legit enemy also to her shoulder that put her out at the cost her to vacate the title. They had a battle royal that Becky Lynch won, and then it was Becky defending against Liv Morgan. And the commentators did a great job of talking about how Liv continually finishes second. She finished second at elimination, taking the second at the Royal Rumble, second at the Battle Royal for the championship. But then while the match is going, even pre-match, Our boy, Dirty Dom Mysterio. And I want to take 2 seconds and give Dom Mysterio his flowers. I don't know if you noticed, but during the broadcast, and we're actually recording during when the show will be showing, but they're doing a biography from Eddie Guerrero, who is Dominic Mysterio's uncle, for lack of a better term. And Dominic talks about how his heel persona, he takes a lot of things from Eddie. The mullet, the mustache, kind of the smarminess. And Dom is an excellent heel. I think Dom is one of the better heels that they have right now.
Yeah.
You want to boo Dom. You
I know,
really want to.
Dude, and until you explained it to me, like a while ago, you hated the heels. And then when you were like, well, dude, the more you hate the heels,
Yes,
the more you like the heels.
Yes.
And then it's like, shit, I really do like Gunther.
Yeah.
The
whole reason Stone Cold Steve Austin became so popular was people, by the way, that's another famous fact about Stone. So here I got 2 quick facts about the King of the Ring. I think it was in 96. The original plan for King of the Ring 96 was going to be Triple H. They had I don't know if you know what the curtain call is, but that was a thing that they really broke what used to be called kayfabe, which we don't talk about. The fact that wrestling is choreographed. So as punishment, Triple H did not win the King of the Ring that year. Stone Cold Steve Austin won it. And the person he wrestled in the finals, that was Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake. Jake Roberts was newly very religious and had really been touting up in reality, his religion going into this match. Austin wins the match with a very sloppy Stone Cold Stunner, goes up to give his post-match promo. And because Jake Roberts had been talking about John's 316 throughout the build-up, Austin, off the top of his head, this was not planned, goes, you talk about your John 316, Austin 316 just said I whipped your ass. And then he goes, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Those moments created Stone Cold Steve Austin, the main event, and made him in the WWE millions, and for WWE probably billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that being said, going back to the Dom thing. So here's my thoughts with that. So when the way the match played out, Dominic Mysterio, who is also injured with a shoulder injury, couldn't wrestle, is there kind of, get a little tension with Liv. I'm here to make sure you don't win the title. And then he interferes and slides the chair in to Becky. Becky, as the babyface, won't use the chair. He distracts the ref. Liv uses the chair on Becky, then hits her finisher, the Oblivion. 1, 2, 3 becomes women's champion. So all the things is, why was Dom there? Mommy's gonna be mad. Mm-hmm. What happens next? So Bradley, I'm gonna pose this to you. Maybe your head has already gotten here.
Hell yeah.
We've talked for weeks and months about how Rhea Ripley is a babyface. She's booed when she's there with the Judgment as a group. Even the group gets some cheers. But whenever it's Rhea by herself, she gets cheered.
Yeah.
She's a babyface. Again, a heel who is so cool, they become popular. Rhea Ripley is a great example of that.
Yep.
What if, and this would make a great way of splitting her pots from the Judgment Day, but also primarily splitting her from Dom so she can be the babyface. What if this whole thing with him being there is we now see Dom Mysterio and Liv Morgan as the new couple once Mommy returns? What do you think?
Love it. I think this is really, really plausible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there will at least be a comment from Liv saying, "Who's your mommy?"
Yes,
or something like that.
Yes,
because she wants to dig in on Rhea.
Yep.
And that'll do it. Taking her spot in Judgment Day. I mean, this would be a big FU. And
this would be a big FU.
Yes, I want this to happen.
Yes,
100%.
Also, they gives Dom then. I mean, I think Dominic Mysterio honestly is okay in the ring. He's not his dad.
Correct.
But very few are.
And he's still new. I mean, he's still
really green. Give him a minute.
Yeah.
But I also would give him, similar to Xavier Woods, who I really like as part of the New Day. But
especially now that he's got some part of a beard.
Thank you. But
dude does not look good clean shaven.
But he's not Kofi, he's not Big E. But he's, of the three of them, probably the best talker, right? So Dom is a good talker. He's a heel magnet. So having him maybe less as an in-ring performer to be I mean, he'll still wrestle, obviously, but
Yeah, but
having him
he's
there for Liv, there's no need for him to be with Rhea Ripley, right? As far as like
yeah.
he needs her help. Liv, she's a smaller wrestler. You could totally say, hey, and it works well for a heel champion.
Hmm.
Hey, if Dom wasn't there, she would have lost. Build those things, and you could really extend out maybe a good feud and program between her and Rhea Ripley. So I think that's what we're gonna
Yeah.
see. Um, any other matches stand out for you as far as really things that you really enjoyed? Then we'll flip the script.
Not really. I mean, like the Nia Jax was
Mhm.
just fine.
I really hope Lara Valkyria, if you saw that finish, the way she took that annihilator, that that looked painful. That looked, and no shade to Nia Jax's and
Yeah.
body size, but just the way she took that splash and the fact that she was elevated and her body was not maybe in like a flat way to distribute the
Hmm.
impact, and she whammed on her like upper torso, not even like her whole body, but
Hmm.
really her upper torso. It's an incredible looking spot, and obviously, and you heard the commentators 1, 2, 3, like there's no way anybody should kick out of that. That was a great way. And you saw, by the way, which I love that they're giving us moments where you get to see the wrestlers real people and then you see them go back into character. You saw Triple H give her a hug. She's obviously emotional, but to
Yeah.
give Nia Jax a ton of credit, as soon as that moment she got back into Nia and did a great heel promo and setting up for SummerSlam. And I got to give her, I have not been a huge Nia Jax fan. She was released by the company a few years back. Since
Hmm.
coming back, I think she has improved so much as a performer. And she's embraced being a heel. They
Yeah.
tried her as a baby face. It didn't work. Fine. And I really liked her. And Lyra Valkyria, other than she needs a different name. Good on her, and I think we're definitely seeing her coming forward. So, question for you, sir. So right now, barring a change, it will be in the match. What makes sense? You got a heel versus a babyface.
Hmm.
Bailey will defend against Nia at SummerSlam. Who you got? Bailey, and we'll talk about this when we get closer. Who you got? Bailey. If this is the
Oh
match,
gosh.
Bailey versus Nia. Who do you got?
Nia.
I do as well. I do as
Yeah.
well.
I don't think they can have. Yeah, Nia. She needs something.
She
She needs
needs
something
it.
to.
They've also built up when she was on Raw. She got so close with when
Hmm.
Becky was a champion. I don't think she do the exact same narrative, and it also shows, hey, let's change brands. Give us a chance to freshen up. So once I agree with you, the whole deal of Bailey as champion was her getting the title and separating herself from Damage Control. Damage Control is now on Raw, so this is a great case to kind of level set and to have Nia, and I think to see what she can do as champion. All right. Let's
Great.
jump. Let's jump to another match, sir. One that you kind of alluded to.
Yeah.
The men's King of the Ring is redundant, but the King of the Ring, Gunther and our boy Randy, Keith Orton,
The
and
Viper.
the RKO, the Viper, the Legend Killer. Who, by the way, hang on, let me just double check this because I really want to ask a quick question to you, my friend. So I just checked really quickly. Randy Orton is 44 years old. Dude,
Man,
the shape, especially after being out for a year and a
I'm
half,
44 years old.
especially at being gone legitimately for a year and a half due to a legit neck injury that could have derailed his career. The man, him and AJ Styles, but especially Randy, can you have negative body fat? Can the universe owe you body fat?
If you're Randy Orton, I think it can.
This is one of the times when wrestling says a bunch of things that are really big and hyperbolic, that's legit. That if you, because he said this about Austin back in the day, then I said about Randy Orton, if you had to build a wrestler, a sports entertainer, like just what they would look like Randy Orton.
Yeah.
If I had to if I had to pick a UFC fighter, if I had to pick a combat athlete, just head to toe, tall, muscular, fast, all those things, lean. Dude, Randy Orton's the guy. So I was gonna say I wonder what he does for a workout, but he works out. So Yeah, I ain't gonna do it. But anyway, so beyond that, let's jump to it. Gunther versus. By the way, look at old pictures of Gunther when he was as Walter. He's another guy's really redone his body. But we
Mhm.
got Gunther, who honestly is my favorite heel. Right? I love me some Gunther, the Ring General, and Randy
Now
Orton.
King
Now he's the
General.
King General. He beat Randy, but then you had the finish, the conclusion of the match, the crucifix pin, but quite obviously, both live and on the replay, Orton's shoulders, at least one of them, and in some parts, both of them, are
Yeah.
not, and we're not talking close that maybe,
No.
but quite obviously are not on the mat. So
Yeah.
give me your thoughts on that.
Man, it was stupid. It really was, because especially in wrestling, when it's like, you when the shoulders are on the ground
Yeah.
for all three, and the ref is like prolonging it,
Like, I know you're supposed to kick out here, bro. Yeah.
right? And this time it was like so bad. He's like, 1, 2, and he's like right there. I mean,
Yes,
there
sir.
is no way the ref
Yep.
did not see this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I was pretty pissed.
So here's my question back to you. And again, I saw a couple things on the internet, but I had this thought even when I saw with the initial pin and the ref moving and then seeing him counting when it's, again, clear as day.
Mm-hmm.
And you also didn't see two things. Gunther trying to reposition Randy's shoulders, or Randy leaning into the pin to get his shoulders down. I think that was the plan. I think that may have been the plan to possibly. So here's the deal. Gunther, now this is where it gets a little tricky.
Okay.
They're on different brands. So the way that it should work is that Gunther is supposed to be able to challenge his brand's top men's championship. So because it's on Raw, that's the men's world
I think I know where
championship,
you're going
and
here.
that's Damian Priest, right?
Yep.
A heel versus heel match is a little However, if they come about on Monday, because even if you look at Corey Graves and him talk about, I would love to see some, like, they could have just ignored it and like, it was a botch. We won't draw attention to it. Maybe it'll die, right?
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned it during, and I don't think with it would have been a PLE, and there was time. There was time for when the match ended, and Corey Graves made his comment that people in the back are like, don't mention the shoulders. It was a screw up, or mention the shoulders to maybe plant the seeds that Randy possibly at SummerSlam, we get a triple threat because now you've got a baby face.
That sounds awesome.
And you get, not to interrupt your partner. Also, if a match, I personally really like Damian Priest, similar to Rhea.
So
I think we're heading to Damian Priest being a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
So by the way, what if this happened? This quick tangent. What if we have Rhea Ripley leaving Judgment Day because she's popular? What if we have Damian Priest leaving Judgment Day?
Which he pretty much already is.
Yeah. And now you have Judgment Day as Carlito, JD McDonough, Finn Balor, Dirty Dom, and Liv Morgan. That's the new Judgment Day.
I mean, I'm for that.
I'm curious who would be the leader. If it would be because I think you argue Finn, Dom, or Carlito as the leaders.
Yeah.
I think Finn would probably be the leader just because he's got the best resume individually of the three. But I also think we're going to see a Finn, JD McDonough tag team. So possibly either, and that also could lead to that. You also could have possibly, we'll get back to it, possibly a feud between Carlito and Damian. So we could have the Liv Dom thing driving Rhea Ripley out of Judgment Day. You could have Carlito turn into Judgment Day on Damian Priest to cause Priest to leave the Judgment Day, and Carlito's the new leader of the Judgment Day, or at least, and I really like that maybe even Dom being the leader. I think this Dom he's such a heel magnet. He'll make sure they all get booed. Like Carlito could rescue a basket of kittens from a fire. If he's hanging out with Dominic Mysterio, he's getting booed. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
100%. Okay. But anyway, my original point, now hush on it, is if you want to say maybe a match maybe needs a little more star power with Damian Priest versus Gunther, adding Randy maybe one time only, he goes back to SmackDown if he doesn't win the title, Randy versus Gunther and Damian Priest as a triple threat for SummerSlam.
I mean, that just sounds like a freaking amazing match. Just
And either way it slices, because remember, what about this? We like the fan cast on this. What if Randy, because they made a point that he's only 2 world titles away from tying Cena and Ric Flair. By the way, no one should beat Ric Flair for the most world titles.
agreed.
And I think that's why and Cena, I think, is kind of. I don't think you'll see Cena win another title just for that reason. But he's right now. He's tied with Triple H. He's tied with Triple H at 14. What if Randy wins the match, and then that sets up Randy versus Seth Rollins when Rollins returns, because those two have history with. I think it could go a couple of days with Randy Orton. You could go Randy and Rollins have history back with the Authority, or if Randy stays on Raw and eventually gets a program with Cody Rhodes back with Legacy. But I do think we might see Randy, even if it's one night only, in that triple threat match. That also comes away of Priest retaining without Gunther being pinned. They're being very cautious with the amount of. Here's a fun fact for you: since Gunther debuted on the main roster, Gunther's only been pinned twice in a Raw match by Jey Uso. No, I'm lying to you. He lost 2 matches. He lost by disqualification. I think it was count out to Chad Gable, and then it was pinned by Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. Gunther's has been on the main roster, has only been pinned 1 time. He's lost 2 total matches, and there's house shows, so you never know about those results. But as far as televised matches, he's only lost 2. One by count out to Gable, and one when he was pinned by Sami Zayn after holding the Intercontinental title for a number we'll never forget, 666 days. All right.
Yes.
All right, last thing. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, I was just going to go ahead. You go ahead, man.
No. And then kind of my last thoughts on the pay-per-view is we got to talk about the world title match, which was Logan Paul and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. A really good match. This is one of those matches that I don't think anybody was surprised at the outcome, but we've said it in the podcast before when we talk about wrestling, sometimes the predictable finish is still the correct finish, right? We waited 2 years for Cody to beat Roman Reigns. Yes, it was predictable, meaning that that's what we wanted, but that still didn't make it the wrong outcome, and it's how things play out. So Cody versus Logan Paul. I don't think anybody was thinking that Logan Paul was going to win that match. Cody's a new champion. He just won the title last month at Mania. But what were your thoughts on the overall match?
Fine. Nothing sticks out to me. You can tell that they're friends. I mean, you can tell like Logan Paul is actually pretty decently good friends with like 90% of the roster.
When they had the controversy, maybe they were going to have The Rock versus Roman Reigns. This is the benefit of him being a part-timer. He quickly went to his socials, and he's got lots of followers going, "We want Cody." That's where that movement started. Or going like, "We don't want the Rock's a great guy, but if someone's going to beat Roman, it should be Cody." Remember, he's supposed to be a heel, and then a very baby face, like Cody's earned it. Let him finish his story. So yeah, you can tell those two definitely have friendship, respect, affinity for each other, and that played out in the match. Now, I will say that that splash off the top from Logan to Cody. First off, I gotta give Logan Paul his flowers. The guy's a podcaster. He does the Prime energy drink. He's a boxer. By the way, Logan, if you're listening to this, and we know you are, Mike Tyson is going to destroy your brother. I would be real concerned. Like, if you don't have an insurance policy on your brother, you might want to take one out. And again, social media. You look at the training videos that Jake Paul puts out and the training videos that Mike Tyson puts out, dude. If you ever if he breathes hard on you in the match, first round, just lay down. Just lay down, take your purse and go home. that being
And
said,
nobody
yeah,
would fault you.
no one will fall.
No
Especially
one will fault you
what
for.
I want so bad is for Evander Holyfield to be in the front row, like, dude, just fall down, dude. Look, just fall
Right?
down, bro.
Yeah.
But Logan Paul is, in every sense of the word, a part-time wrestler. Not only the other commitments that he has, but he's had at least televised matches, definitely less than 20. Definitely less than 20. And if you think about it, I can't think of a bad match he had a tag match with The Miz as his partner at WrestleMania a few years ago. He had a one-on-one match against The Miz. He was in a Money in the Bank match. He had a really good match with Ricochet. He had a great match in Saudi Arabia against Roman Reigns. He had a great match where he won the title in Saudi Arabia from Rey Mysterio, and he still holds the U.S. title. And then the match yesterday afternoon for us last night in Saudi Arabia against Cody Rhodes. The guy is really good.
Yeah.
So is he eventually going to be a champion? Probably, if he keeps the partner schedule. I mean, world champion. Probably not. But if he ever wanted to be someone that can be at least on like every few pay-per-views instead of maybe a couple three a year, but he's actually at a decent amount of pay-per-view. I don't know what his contract requires of him as far as appearances. He's really, really, really good. And as far as on SmackDown, with the Tribal Chief not being here, he may be their number one heel. I mean, Solo's doing his best, but he might be their number one
sucks.
heel. He's not the promo, but you've got Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, and at some point we're gonna have Jacob Fatu. As far as the new bloodline, this is totally building to this is building to Roman and Rock, right? You know this has got to be a thing. Solo, I mean, he basically gives me at moments Rikishi, his father, at moments Haku. I think he doesn't wrestle he's not Roman's promo, and because of the dynamic, they don't let Paul Heyman talk as much as he did when Roman was around. I don't think he sucks. There's a difference there. But at the same time, the bloodline is not the imposing faction that they were without the Usos and without Roman, but that still doesn't negate. I think they're trying, and and also because of it, I think that does make Logan Paul the number one heel. Who would be a better heel on SmackDown right now than Logan Paul?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
And
he's part-time. The fans boo. He knows how to make the fans boo. Everything you read online, any interviews, while he's not on SmackDown every week, he's not on every card. He takes this. He couldn't do the things that he does if he didn't take it seriously. So I got to give Logan Paul his credit. So a couple things then. Since Gunther won the men's, I keep saying men's King of the Ring, because Gunther won the King of the Ring, so he'll be challenging the Raw champion. Who is Cody? And obviously he's going to defend that SummerSlam. Who challenges Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam?
Man, will we get somebody to come back?
Yeah, I think it would be premature if it's Roman. I think it would be premature. Again, it's the second biggest show, so possibly The Rock. It's in August, so we're counting the tail end of summer movie season. So I don't even know if The Rock has anything coming out that he's going to promote. Also, the other thought would be if they just, and this just came to me, going back to the Gunther Orton match, if Orton goes, you know what, I wasn't pinned, maybe you have either Nigel McGuinness or maybe Cody himself go like, hey, you should have a world title match at SummerSlam. So instead of challenging, so if you'd have won the match, you could have challenged me, possibly establishing Orton versus Rose anyway. And again, given their history with Legacy, and Cody's been very both in kayfabe and in real life, talking about how he takes a lot of lessons from Randy as champion when they were legacy to how he presents himself now. Maybe we get a Randy versus Cody, and I'm not gonna
That could
lie,
be interesting.
it'll be interesting. And other than I think the fans don't want to boo him because I think he's earned being and they sing his song now just like they sing Cody and Seth's,
Hmm.
which is great. Which do you prefer? And this is my last question regarding the pay per view or the premium live event. How do you prefer your Randy Orton, a babyface or a heel?
You know, I don't think he can be a heel anymore.
There's that. So
So
I agree with you.
I
But
think he's
we would have
better
said
than
that we would
babyface.
have said that about The Rock a year
Yeah,
ago. Would have
that's
said
true.
about The
That's
Rock
true.
a year ago. So, but The Rock
Um,
also can be a real douche. He can really lean into it.
yeah, I mean, I prefer him as a babyface. I
Do
prefer
you?
Randy
Okay.
Orton as a babyface, man.
Yeah.
He's too Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Gotcha.
What about you?
Yeah. And I think, and by the way, you mentioned Stone Cold. I think one thing that SmackDown needs to do, and again, I think under Triple H's leadership, I think both Raw and SmackDown are really good shows. But at the same time, if you're gonna have a long-term babyface champion, which I think Cody is going to be and should be, you gotta build your heels. So right now in the men's division, the main event level, the men's division main event level, they're really short on heels. He just beat Logan Paul
Hmm.
straight up. Gunther's on Raw. Jimmy Uso's out. They've not done anything to develop Solo as a contender, much less Tonga or Tongaloa. Um, so then my other thought would be potentially Kevin Owens. Um,
That could be
your
interesting.
twin. He's not been a heel for a really long time.
Yeah,
Uh, Sami Zayn is a natural babyface in the way that he presents himself. They could bring up Sami won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens could have won it when the US title. Did not. Owen and his tag team with Orton. If they lose, typically Owens the one that takes the pin. Again, he's not been a heel for a long time. You look at his career, more often than not, he is a heel. Um, and the fans would like him as a babyface. But potentially it's rather give Cody an opponent. I mean, they moved Shinsuke to SmackDown. That they just feuded on Raw, so it's not gonna be Shinsuke.
I
Part of
hate
me
that.
goes, maybe it's got to be either Orton in a babyface versus babyface match, or you do something. Again, I don't think Solo. Maybe you try and make a program. So you still got a couple of months,
Yeah,
but I'm thinking potentially maybe we get a Kevin Owens heel turn to maybe give Cody a match. All right. Any other thoughts regarding King and Queen of the Ring, my friend?
no, I think we could put a pin
Put a
in
pin
this
in that.
one.
All right, bro. I think you had a game or two for us.
I got two games for you tonight. Two games. The first game is I'm gonna go over three 1980s action movie synopsis.
I like this so
Two are
far.
real, one is
Okay.
fake. You
Okay.
you have to pick out which one is fake.
Two real, kind of like two lies, two truths and a lie.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. Are
All
you
right.
ready? I'm going to give you the name of the movie
Ready? Let's
and
do it.
then the synopsis.
You're gonna give me say it again. Like, what are you gonna give me?
The name of the movie
And then the
and the
synopsis.
synopsis of the
All
movie.
right. I'm ready. Let's do
All
this
right,
thing.
because we like our 80s action.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Let's
And
get to
this
the chopper.
game,
Get to the chopper.
so or like a good neighbor.
Yes.
uh,
And of course, the best ever you said it earlier is Jippy Ki. Like
yeah.
for real. For real, for
So
real.
I got to give Sean Von Nick a shout out for this because
Sean, my guy.
he's doing a some 80s action movie rewatch. So this
Okay.
kind of put me onto this. So all right, we're gonna do 1, 2, or 3. I'm gonna start with number 1.
Yes, sir.
This is called Cobra Commando. The synopsis: Commando John Cobra Johnson is tasked with infiltrating the South American drug cartel stronghold to rescue a group of hostages and dismantle the operation from the inside. Okay.
Okay.
Number 2. This is City Heat. Slick private investigator Mike Murphy and tough police lieutenant Spear, once partners, now bitter enemies, reluctantly team up to investigate a murder. And
Okay.
3. This one is Hard Ticket to Hawaii. In Hawaii, an undercover DEA agent and her civilian friend stumble upon a drug trafficking operation and have to enlist the help of all their colleagues / friends to go after the vicious drug kingpin. Brian.
These are harder than I thought they'd be.
I'll repeat as many times as you want.
Let me clarify. So the names of these are the names that you came up with for the movies, correct?
So two of them are real movies.
Oh,
One
these
of
are
them is
real
a fake
movies.
movie,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so synopsis and movie title are all real.
Okay.
One of them is not.
Oh, wow. Okay, give them to me again.
Okay, number 1, Cobra Commando. Commando John Cobra Johnson is tasked with infiltrating the South American drug cartel stronghold to rescue a group of hostages and dismantle the operation from the inside. Number 2, City Heat. Slick private investigator Mike Murphy and tough police lieutenant Spear, once partners, now bitter enemies, reluctantly team up to investigate a murder. And number 3, this is Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Wait, that's the best one ever. Hard Ticket to Hawaii?
That's right. In Hawaii, an undercover DEA agent and her civilian friend stumble upon a drug trafficking operation and have to enlist the help of all their colleagues / friends to go after the vicious drug kingpin. I can just hear the 80s music in the background.
Oh my God. I so wanted one of these to star Roddy Piper just because remember Scanners and all the okay.
Right?
Gosh,
I will say one of them stars. One of these movies has 2 very famous people in it.
Okay. So I'm gonna make my pick, but do me a favor, give me the titles then. Just the titles.
Yeah.
Didn't get even something, just give me the titles.
Okay. Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Okay.
Cobra Commando. And City Heat.
I almost went Hard Ticket to Hawaii because that's such an outlandish title. It can't be a movie. Then I remember we're talking about the 80s.
Yeah.
And I go, no, that's what an 80s movies will be. So then I thought about if you're marketing a movie, what would those things? And again, everything was heat in the 80s, right? So I'm thinking that City Heat kind of would make sense.
Yeah.
But then by process of eliminating, this is a guess, bro.
Okay.
I'm going because then I'm thinking about because again, 80s Cobra Commander was such a thing that I feel like from a marketing standpoint, unless with it not being and it does not the movie in your synopsis is related to G.I. Joe. I think that one to me will be the one that maybe is not real. So I'm gonna go to Cobra Commando, if I'm saying it right.
Gotcha.
One as the fake one. That's the one I think is fake.
Okay. So here's how we're gonna do this. The movie City Heat. Slick private investigator Mike Murphy, played by Burt Reynolds, and tough police lieutenant Spear, played by Clint Eastwood, once partners, now bitter enemies, reluctantly team up to investigate a murder. Okay.
If you had to do Tango and Cash before Tango and Cash, this is that movie. Okay.
Right, exactly. And we need a remake of this too. Okay.
Oh my God, yes. All right.
All right, I'm going to give you Cobra Commando is correct. It is not a real movie. It is a fake movie. Hard Ticket to Hawaii is. I love your thinking on this, man. I loved it.
I was like, when you did it the first time, like, it's gotta. I'm thinking that sounds like Baywatch gone bad. It's gotta be fake. And I'm like, no. In the '80s, such a ridiculous plot. When number one get made, and number two, we'd have totally watched it. Like, we may have watched it on USA like at 1 a.m. But we'd have totally watched it. So okay,
yeah, in USA up all night. All right, man. That's game number one.
Cheers. Thank you.
That's game number one. Are you ready for game number two?
Let's do it, bro.
So game number two, we are going to play a constellation game.
Okay.
No,
but I stuck last time, so I want to be better this week. Okay.
I'm going to give you two actors.
Okay.
And you have to relate them. I will tell you this, that I can relate them in two movies.
Okay.
2 stars.
So two movies between them. Two movies between them,
yes.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Bro.
Are you ready for the actors?
Probably not, but let's do it anyway. Let's knock it out.
Because this week we had some big movies come out. One was Furiosa.
Yes,
so
sir.
We're going to use Anna Taylor-Joy.
Okay.
The second, we also had another movie come out, which was the Garfield movie. And I got to give your boy Samuel L. Jackson, who is one of the cats. And Snoop Dogg is also a cat, which almost made the movie. But
that's a guy. Oh, by the way, I want to, since I live on the south side of Des Moines, there's a Willie Nelson concert on this side of town yesterday. Our air still
high.
Yeah, I'm not high, but our air quality is like no one wants to go outside, or you have people doing nothing but staying outside. So,
yeah, absolutely. All right, Brian, can you connect Anna Taylor-Joy to Samuel Jackson in 2 or less stars?
2 or less.
Yes.
Okay.
2 to tie me, 1 or if you can think of 1, you might get it, but you could go for the tie.
Okay. All right, let me think this through.
I will say that I could get there in two different ways.
Okay.
So you're going to start with Samuel Jackson?
Hang on. Okay, let me think about this. So I have to go from her to Samuel Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Let me think. Because I think I might have it.
I can't remember them ever working together.
I think I might have it. Give me just a second here.
Are you going to use a Capital One commercial?
That okay. I'm thinking, but I think I might have it. But I really, really want to be right here. I can do it in, I feel like this is Name Your Tune. Yeah, I can do it. I can do a direct connect between her and Samuel Jackson.
So you're going for the win. What do we got?
Going for the win. So Anya plays Casey Cook in both Split and Glass, and Samuel Jackson is Mr. Glass. I can't remember he's in a cameo in Split, but he damn sure is in Glass. So her directly to Samuel Jackson in Glass. One move.
Okay. Great job. You beat me, because here was the way I went. Anna Taylor-Joy starred in Super Mario Brothers as Princess Peach with one Chris Pratt.
Yep.
Chris Pratt.
You can go a variety of movies, go Chris Pratt and Sam Jackson.
Right.
Yeah.
So Endgame or whatever. Or you could go this way as well. You could go Anna Taylor-Joy worked with Nicholas Hoult in The Menu. Nicholas Hoult is John in the Garfield movie.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
Two different ways. that you could go
Gotcha.
for 2. You win that one. Well done.
After
Well
last
done.
week, I needed redemption. After last week, I needed redemption.
Good
And the
job.
only
Good
reason
job.
that I've been trying to catch up, and honestly, had you asked this last week or probably next week, I wouldn't have gotten it because I love her. Because even though she's just a cameo, because I told you before, I watched Doom. I've been watching Doom 2. I've been kind of doing my behind, like curious about not only the next movie that hopefully we get, but also Brad. I don't know if you saw that there's going to be an HBO series regarding it,
Prophecy.
Prophecy, and then they are going to be doing also another HBO series, a prequel, Dune Daughters, maybe, which is about the cult of women.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So,
With
anyways,
Bene
and I hadn't.
Gesserit?
Yeah, I couldn't think of what their name is, but I've been reading all that literally yesterday until today. So that's the only reason why I was so much into her IMDb and Wikipedia pages. That's the only reason, because she is a blonde in most things, but she's a brunette in Glass and Split. So that's the only reason that struck in my head. So that was a great one, partner. And honestly, just the timing worked against you, or you would have had me this week. That's a
That's
great one,
okay.
bro.
That's okay. Awesome, Brian. You got an honest ad
I
before
got an
we
honest
start
ad for
closing
you,
down.
sir. Yes, sir. Before we close our shot, let me give our honest ad. And tonight's honest ad is going to be about, because for most places, it is graduation time. So let's talk
Yes.
about my honest ad for graduation day. The pomp, the circumstance, the joy, the tears. All emotions come as graduation nears. Years of hard work, sacrifice, and dedication have been committed to achieving your education. Books you've read, papers you wrote. In my day, we had desks filled with post-it notes. Nights filled with less and less sleep. You had nightmares of exams instead of counting sheep. But here you are, a graduate, an adult. Your childhood you have shed. Please heed my words of advice. Screw growing up and stay in your parents' house instead. My honest ad for graduation day.
Well done. Well done. I will throw out my human of the week
Yes,
for
sir.
all the good old graduates that work at B&B Theaters here and do well and be awesome and do all the good things
All
that I
right.
know you can.
Hey, my better than us human of the week is going to be humans, and especially to you, my tag team partner. Well, obviously to tomorrow. Well, those of you who may not realize this, we're recording this on Sunday, May 26th. Tomorrow is Veterans Day in our country, so
Memorial Day.
Memorial. What I say, Veterans Day. I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
that's all right.
Memorial
That's right.
Day. But the reason I want to bring this up is for Memorial Day, which is really meant for our veterans who have made the ultimate
Yeah.
sacrifice. So first off, for all the veterans out there who are still with us, including my tag team partner, thank you so much for your service. And for those who unfortunately never got the opportunity to come home, we thank you. Regardless of your political affiliation, I truly do mean this, that freedom is not free. And the only reason that many of us enjoy the liberties that we have is for other people. I take this completely from a few good men, but pick up a weapon and stand a post. I've never had to do that because so many other men and women have done that for me. So regardless of who you're going to vote for, who you're fans of, where we lie on a lot of things, again, we try and get this very much not only completely positive, but nerve positive. But I hope tomorrow you take a moment, whether you put flowers on a grave, salute the flag. If you see a veteran out there, just appreciate them because again, I want to, because one of the dear people that I respect so much, I love you to death, partner, is there's so many people that laid on their lives so the rest of us don't have to. So the reason I get to sit here and do a silly little podcast on Sunday evenings with one of my best friends in the world is because so many other people make the ultimate sacrifice, and we need to acknowledge that. So again, to you and all the veterans, please enjoy your day. And again, for those vets and those families that will never be the same because the sacrifice is made, we really want to honor you and thank you for your service and your sacrifice, and have a great Memorial Day tomorrow.
Thank you very much, sir. 100% my honor, dude. Some of the best memories I have from is from my military service. My short time that I spent in was some of the. I have some of the best friends that I haven't seen in many, many of years. That I swear too much when we talk, but
I was gonna say for many of my friends that I know that are veterans, anytime we get to talking, and again, my father was a veteran. Um, any veteran that I've had a chance to talk to, when they start telling their true old school, even if they just got out of service a year ago, when they talk about the time in the service, number one, they are typically are great stories. Number two, they are not necessarily stories you can share in every
no.
environment. So again, have your stories, enjoy them, enjoy your day, and again, in a no politics zone, a true no spin zone. If you are graced to have a veteran in your space in whatever way, shape, and possible, just take a minute, thank them for their service, and let's all take just a moment to appreciate those who are not here because they decided to do what so many of us have not chosen to do, and also not in a position to do, which is make that ultimate sacrifice.
All right, man. With that being said,
Let's
where
close it
can we
up.
find you?
You can find me on the Book of Faces. I've not been as active lately, but I will get back into it. Brian Stephen Dennis. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a friend request on Facebook. I try to keep it always light and occasionally weird. What about you, brother?
All right, you can find me on Facebook. Let's see here, Facebook, all the things. I didn't even write them down on this one.
Other
That's
than
fine.
X/Twitter, because you will not respond.
That's right, exactly. You can anywhere, Facebook, YouTube. Just
The
look up the
TikTok
Fandemic. You're
page,
gonna find me.
folks. Legitimately, Brad is the TikTok is pretty much all my partner in a lot of events he does. The TikTok is a great follow. The content is fantastic. It's always light, funny, and really good. So, hey, give the TikTok page a shout out because it really is. I mean, I check in all the time. You always get a heart from me, bro. The 1-star reviews is anything. If an hour to an hour and a half of us doesn't fit to your world every time, check out the TikTok. Because again, it's more Brad and less me, which is probably a good thing.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. And if you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/
You buy for anything if you want to, by the way. We'll
Absolutely.
drink it. By the way, hey, 7 leagues or Siete Laguerres. Lovely. All right.
All right. And you know what? Just PayPal or Venmo at Bradley B10. I'm not going to say no. All right, guys. In closing, dude, we have hit max levels of awesome tonight. Let's leave how we do on a positive note. Let's get a little #nerd positive. Brian, what do you got for me?
As always, want to thank you for joining us on our little show we like to call Revenge of the Nerds. It is the best part of my week. I know it's one of the highlights of Brad's week. Want to thank you all for being good boys and girls and joining us. And just some parting words before we get out of here. Remember, never retreat, never surrender, and Goonies, never say die.
All right. So, friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. And as always, squirrels' cheeks are also their nutsacks. Bye bye.
Bye.